Welcome to the Financial Aid Overview presentation. This presentation is specifically for high school students graduating in the 2020-21 academic year and then enrolling in a post-secondary institution for the 2021-2022 academic year. It is brought to you by the Office of Student Financial Assistance, a division of the Florida Department of Education. Upon completion of this presentation, you will gain a better understanding of the overall financial aid process for all post-secondary institutions. My name is Pedro Hernandez, Outreach Director, here at the Office of Student Financial Assistance. It is my pleasure to guide you through this process. A major and critical lesson is to know that financial aid has its own language and acronyms. We will explain these as we move through the presentation. However, if at any point throughout the process you do not understand a term, a concept, or acronym, always ask for clarification. In financial aid language, let us review the following. COA means cost of attendance. SAR means student aid report. EFC means expected family contribution. FAFSA means the free application for federal student aid. FSAID means the Federal Student Aid Identification. FFAA means the Florida Financial Aid Application. FAO, Financial Aid Office. USDOE, the United States Department of Education. FDOE, Florida Department of Education. And OSFA is the Office of Student Financial Assistance. The goal of this session is to understand the entire financial aid process. This will be accomplished by reviewing and answering the four questions. What is financial aid? Where do I find financial aid? And how and when do I apply? And who can help me with this process? After this brief yet comprehensive review, you will be able to better understand the entire financial aid process and make informed decisions pertaining to funding a post-secondary education of your choice. Let us begin by answering the first question. What is financial aid? Financial aid is defined as money received from the four major sources. They are federal, state, institutional, and private aid. Federal aid includes funding such as the Pell Grant, federal student loans, and federal work study. State financial aid offers a variety of state-funded scholarships and grants that are administered by the Florida Department of Education, Office of Student Financial Assistance, and subject to change each year during the legislative session. Institutional aid are monies offered directly from the post-secondary institutions. Private resources include a variety of private scholarships from various groups such as local employers, national organizations, and community groups. It is important to research and apply for each of these resources. Financial aid may also be defined in the following four categories. Gift aid. This is free money that does not require repayment as long as the student meets the parameters outlined for each grant or scholarship. Students should always consult with a financial aid administrator prior to making any schedule changes to determine what repercussions the scheduled changes will have on their financial aid awards. Self-help aid includes both federal and state work-study programs. Need-based financial aid are monies awarded based on the applicant's free application for federal student aid, or FAFSA. Therefore, it is important to complete your FAFSA as soon as possible. While the Pell Grant is an entitlement program, other need-based monies are awarded from the state or post-secondary institution. Merit-based aid are monies that are available through a variety of avenues that we will discuss throughout today's presentation. For example, Bright Futures is a merit-based program. Scholastic and athletic scholarships are also examples of merit-based aid. College costs include tuition, fees, books, along with other expenses such as transportation, food, housing, clothing, and computer cost. Cost of attendance can vary from institution to institution, so check your college's website for additional information. Financial aid monies can be used towards all items included within the cost of attendance. The cost of attendance, COA, varies from institution to institution. There are also variances between in-state and out-of-state schools and whether the student lives on or off campus. It is important to take this into consideration when researching your options. Cost of attendance traditionally includes both direct and indirect cost. Direct costs include tuition and fees. Indirect costs include items such as books, transportation, housing, and computer costs. A great resource to utilize is the net price calculator. Every school is now required to have a net price calculator available. You can use the net price calculator to assist in analyzing your cost of attendance at a specific school. As we outlined on the previous slide, college costs include both direct and indirect cost. Let us briefly review the average direct cost, which is only tuition and fees per year at the different types of institutions. According to the College Board, average yearly tuition fees at a public 2-year institution average approximately $3,440. At a public 4-year state university, on average, $9,410. If you elect to go to an out-of-state public 4-year institution, tuition and fees or direct costs are approximately $23,890. Tuition and fees at a private 4-year college or university, on average, is about $32,410. Where does one find financial aid? One essential step is completing the free application for federal student aid, or FAFSA. While the FAFSA is not required, it is used by many institutions to determine need-based financial aid provided by the school for federal, state, and institutional programs. Please note that the first letter in the acronym FAFSA stands for free. Please make sure you are using the correct website, FAFSA.gov or studentaid.gov. There are other websites that can assist you in completing the FAFSA for free. You do not need to pay someone to assist you with this process. There are 3 ways to complete the FAFSA. Online, using your FAFSA ID to electronically sign the application, which is highly recommended. You may also submit information online and print out a signature page to be submitted by mail. Or you may print out the entire PDF application from the website and submit with signatures by mail. The 2021-22 application becomes available October 1st of 2020. Applicants will use their 2019 tax information to complete the FAFSA. Please review your institution's website to determine the priority deadline for your institution. Also, please note that it is highly advisable to complete the application electronically and utilize the IRS data retrieval tool. It is recommended to file a FAFSA each year a student attends a post-secondary institution. This is a screenshot of FAFSA.gov or studentaid.gov. The reason that we show this screen is to ensure you are accessing the free website. If you feel that you need assistance in completing this application, there are built-in help resources available online. You could also reach out to a member of OSFA's Outreach Services team, your high school counselor, or a financial aid professional at your institution. We can all help at no cost to you. When completing the FAFSA, students will need to have their Social Security number, alien registration number if applicable, prior year tax returns or earnings statements, untaxed income records, current bank statements, current business and investment records. Monitoring the various deadlines is an integral part of the financial aid process. For example, the state of Florida offers need-based programs that include a FAFSA priority deadline of May 15th. Institutions also have their own FAFSA priority deadline, and you can check their website for the specific dates. The FAFSA may require parental information. Students will find out their dependency status by answering a few questions at the beginning of the application process. If there are extenuating circumstances and students cannot provide parental information, they need to speak to a financial aid administrator regarding a dependency override. Dependency overrides are for extenuating circumstances only and are not applicable to parents who are unwilling to assist or students who are living on their own. Students can search for school codes directly within the FAFSA application and can request up to 10 institutions to receive this information. Students and parents will need to apply for their own FAFSA ID, their username and password. This FAFSA ID is used to sign the FAFSA and utilize the IRS data retrieval tool. Signing and submitting the FAFSA via this electronic format greatly expedites the process. Parents, if you have a FAFSA ID, either from your own FAFSA or in conjunction with another child, you will use the same FAFSA ID and password. Note, a separate email address is connected with each FSA ID. A parent's email address cannot be used with a student's ID and vice versa. The U.S. Department of Education identifies students' dependency status based on the following questions. If the student can answer yes to any of the following questions, you are considered an independent student on the 2021-2022 free application for federal student aid or FAFSA, and you will not need to provide your parents' information. However, if you answer no to all of the following questions, you are considered a dependent student, and generally your parents must provide parental information on your FAFSA. The questions are, were you born before January 1st, 1998? As of today, are you married? At the beginning of the 2021-2022 school year, will you be working on a master's or doctoral program? Are you currently serving on active duty in the U.S. Armed Forces for purposes other than training? Are you a veteran of the U.S. Armed Forces? Do you now have or will have children who will receive more than half of their support from you between July 1st, 2021 and June 30th, 2022? Do you have dependents other than your children or spouse who live with you and who receive more than half of their support from you now and through June 30th of 2022? At any time since you turned age 13, were both of your parents deceased? Were you in foster care, or were you a dependent or ward of the court in the state that you reside in? If you are not sure if you were in foster care, check with your state child welfare agency. As determined by a court in your state of legal residence, are you or were you an emancipated minor? Does someone other than your parent or step-parent have legal guardianship of you, as determined by a court in your state of legal residence? The next few questions pertain to applicants who are designated as homeless, an unaccompanied youth, self-supporting, at risk of being homeless. At any time on or after July 1st, 2020, did your high school or school district homeless liaison determine that you were an unaccompanied youth who was homeless, self-supporting, or at risk of being homeless? At any time on or after July 1st, did the director of an emergency shelter or transitional housing program funded by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development or a runaway or homeless youth-based center determine that you were an unaccompanied youth who was homeless or at risk of being homeless? Who is a parent for FAFSA purposes? A legal parent includes a biological or adoptive parent or a person that the state has determined to be your parent. For example, when a state allows another person's name to be listed as a parent on a birth certificate. Therefore, grandparents, foster parents, legal guardians, older brothers or sisters, widowed step-parents, aunts or uncles are not considered parents unless they have legally adopted you. If the parent's marital status is never married, include the parent that you live with most during the last 12 months. If you do not live with one parent more than the other, provide information about the parent who provided more financial support during the last 12 months or during the most recent year that you actually received support from a parent. For unmarried and both parents living together, include both of your parents. If your parents are married, include both of your parents. If your parents are remarried after being widowed or divorced, only include the biological parent and the step parent. If your parents are divorced or separated, include the parent that you live with most during the last 12 months. If you did not live with one parent more than the other, provide information about the parent who provided more financial support during the last 12 months or during the most recent year that you actually received support from a parent. If the parent's marital status is widowed, include only the parent who is living. Once you submit your FAFSA, you will receive a Student Aid Report, or SAR. It is important to ensure that the SAR is received and reviewed according to these timeframes. If the SAR is not received, the student must investigate why it has not been received. It may be in a spam folder. It may have not been processed correctly due to an error. When the student receives their copy of the Student Aid Report, or SAR, the institutions will receive an electronic version, commonly referred to as the ISER. If corrections need to be made, the student should work with a financial aid administrator to determine who will make the corrections, the student or the school. If a student needs to make corrections, they will do so by logging in to their FAFSA.gov and correcting their FAFSA and resubmitting that application. The institution will review the Student Aid Report for accuracy and begin the financial aid award process. The EFC is used to award need-based financial aid. As outlined on the slide, cost of attendance minus the expected family contribution, or EFC, equals your financial need. An institution will begin layering a financial aid package in an effort to cover the entire cost of attendance. As the cost of attendance can vary from institution to institution, it is important that the students and family apply for all federal, state, institutional, and local resources in an effort to assist the institution in building a stronger financial aid package. Students must contact their institution to determine the award process. For example, one institution may email the student. Another may require the student to log in to a student portal and check their status online. The student must monitor the process closely. Otherwise, they will miss out on key deadlines or funding. If students and families complete the FAFSA and are concerned that the form does not reflect their current situation, they may contact a financial aid administrator to discuss their specific needs. Professional judgment or special circumstances are optional, and schools have the direct authority in this area. Students can also contact the institution to determine what other aid applications are available. An institution may have a foundation that has a separate application and funding process that students may want to apply for. Additionally, department chairs have access to not only institutional funds, but may also have access to other industry-based resources which students can apply for. Lastly, student loans are often included in the initial award process. Students have a right and responsibility to determine if they should accept, decline, or reduce any student loan or loans being offered. Students should borrow conservatively. It is important to live frugal while in college. If a student does not borrow conservatively and lives frugally, he or she will struggle throughout the student loan repayment period. Students often refer to the Florida Financial Aid Application, FFAA, as the Bright Futures application. It is actually more than that. This one application assists OSFA, or the Office of Student Financial Assistance, in determining eligibility for a variety of state grants and scholarships that we will review over the next few slides. One common misconception is that students do not need to complete the application if they do not feel they will qualify for the Florida Bright Future Scholarship. This is not true. We encourage all students to complete the application and give OSFA the opportunity to determine their eligibility for all Florida grants and scholarships. Another common misconception is that students do not need to complete the application if they are planning to attend a school which is out of state. This is not true either. we encourage you to complete it anyway and have it as a backup should your plans change in the future. The Florida Financial Aid applications opens up on October 1st, 2020 for this year's seniors. Students may only apply during their senior year. Students will also want to check their account for application status, notifications, and award history. The following slides contain screenshots of what the OSFO website looks like. You may access it directly at floridastudentfinancialaid.sg.org. As you can see, the arrows point to where the first-time applicants or where the login for your students to complete and submit their Florida Financial Aid application. FSAG, or Florida Student Assistance Grant, is Florida's largest need-based grant program, which provides assistance to degree-seeking residents, undergraduate students who demonstrate financial need and are enrolled in an eligible public or private post-secondary institution. The FAFSA is required by the deadline specified by the participating post-secondary institution. FWEP, or the Florida Work Experience Program, provides eligible Florida resident undergraduate students the opportunity to secure work experiences that complement their educational program and career goals. Tuition assistance programs such as ABLE, or the Access to Better Learning and Education, provide tuition assistance to full-time Florida undergraduate students enrolled in a degree program at eligible private Florida colleges or universities. Effective Access to Student Education Grant Program, or ABLE, provides tuition assistance to full-time Florida undergraduate students who attend eligible private, non-for-profit Florida colleges or universities. The Florida Bright Futures provides scholarships based on high school academic achievement and is Florida's largest merit-based scholarship program. To be considered, students must submit a completed, error-free initial Student Florida Financial Aid application, or FFAA, during their senior year of high school, after October 1st and prior to August 31st. Students graduating mid-year must submit the completed Florida Financial Aid application by December 1st of their graduation year, if they are to receive funding in the following spring term. First Generation Matching Grant provides grant funding to Florida resident undergraduate students enrolled at a state university or Florida college, also known as public community colleges, who demonstrate financial need and whose parents have not earned a baccalaureate degree. Jose Marti Scholarship provides scholarship assistance to Hispanic American students who meet scholastic requirements and demonstrated financial need. The Mary McLeod Bethune Scholarship provides scholarship assistance to undergraduate students who meet academic requirements, demonstrate financial need, and attend one of the following universities: Bethune-Cookman University, Edward Waters College, Florida Agriculture and Mechanical University, and Florida Memorial University. The Minority Teacher Educational Program Scholarship provides scholarship funding for African American, Hispanic American, Asian American, and Native American students who indicate the potential to become good teachers. To be considered, students must apply via the Florida Fund for Minorities Teachers website that is listed above. The Rosewood Family Scholarship provides scholarship assistance to a maximum of 50 direct descendants of Rosewood families affected by the incidents of January 1923. The Scholarship for Children and Spouses of Deceased or Disabled Veterans provides scholarship assistance to dependent children and spouses of Florida veterans who died as a result of service-connected injuries, diseases, or disabilities sustained while on active duty, have a service-connected 100% total and permanent disability, and are classified as a prisoner of war or missing in action by the Armed Forces of the United States. The Florida Department of Veteran Affairs will certify a veteran's eligibility. Private scholarships and private scholarship searches such as FastWeb, which work by matching the information in your completed profile to scholarships contained in their database, will provide students with scholarships that you could actually qualify for, and therefore eliminated the need to scour the web. FastWeb also provides advice on financial aid, college admissions, student life, and tools such as financial aid calculators, discussion boards, and checklists. Remember, Set up a separate email account solely for scholarship searches to prevent your personal inbox from becoming inundated with information. FinaidOrg offers a great list of scholarships. The list includes a section called Unusual Scholarships. Make sure that you apply for all these scholarships. In addition, your high school counselor's office is a great resource for local scholarships. Many local employers will contact the high school office to advertise their scholarships, applicants, and guidelines. Your school district may also provide an online resource, so make sure that you check your district and high school for additional information. However, we ask you to be aware of scholarship scams. As we discussed earlier, you should never pay money for free money. Protect yourself from companies that attempt to pressure you into paying for resources that you can easily access at no cost. Suspicious activity should be reported to the Federal Trade Commission at the following website listed on the slide. Through OSSO's partnership, all of Mapping Your Future's products and services are free of charge to Florida students and families. Mapping Your Future's goal is to help students plan for higher education by offering reliable and unbiased money management advice and counseling. Online and offline resources include college preparation, school selection, career exploration, and counseling aimed at helping students and families better understand student loan obligations. Mapping Your Future also provides information about practical money management, solutions to ensure healthy finances while in school and beyond. OSSO offers free resources and guidance through the Navigating Your Financial Future website. Please visit our website at navigatingyourfuture.org to see all the free brochures, online trainings, financial aid calculators, and more. In conclusion, let us review what we discussed and create an action plan for you. By completing both the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, and the Florida Financial Aid Application, or FFAA, you will be evaluated for 3 of the 4 sources of financial aid: federal, state, and institution. And by applying to as many private scholarships as possible, you will be evaluated for the 4th source, the private scholarships. So we ask you to constantly apply, and apply. Remember, students graduating early and seeking funding for the spring term must submit the Florida Financial Aid application by
December 31st,
prior to the intended graduation date. There are no exceptions to this application deadline. If a student does not graduate mid-year as planned and wishes to apply at the end of the year graduate, the student must submit a new Florida Financial Aid application after the new application period opens up on October 1st. If you need assistance or further information, please do not hesitate to contact us. We are here to help. Thank you for attending this presentation. We hope you have a successful transition into your post-secondary education of choice.